Very cool. Okay, so today is for our catchers. Really looking forward to getting going here. I know we're waiting on a few more people, and then we will get started.
We got some waves. Shauna says hi.
Hi. If we want, we can take maybe a couple questions right off the bat here. If anybody has something to ask before we get going.
Hello.
We are working on blocking today for our catchers. How are we looking?
Let's give it about one more minute.
Okay.
Annie says
One
hi.
minute, you guys, we're almost there.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Yeah? Okay, let's get going. So, Coach Lauren here again, this time talking about catching. We're going to be working specifically on blocking. We're going to look at the form, we're going to look at what to do, what not to do, and then a couple of drills mixed in at the end. So first things first, when we're blocking, the goal here is that when a ball is thrown into the dirt, whether by mistake from our pitcher or maybe it's a certain pitch that she's trying to get a batter to chase, we have to be on our toes, we have to be ready for it. We need to make sure that ball does not get by us. Now, this is mainly when there's runners on base, but don't get lazy. You also want to do this when you don't have anybody on, just so you stay in a good habit, it looks good, and you'll stay sharp all the time. So, first thing we're going to look at, I'm going to use these foam pads here because I have a bad knee, so forgive me for that. But when you are in your catching position here, right, we have a good squat, nice good balance. So when you go to block the ball, what you really want to do is not to roll that weight forward and just drop those knees ahead of you. What you want to do is you want to kick back and replace. And what that looks like, I'll demonstrate with one side of my body, is I have my left knee here. I'm going to kick back my foot and drop that knee down. And I'm going to have this right leg, kick it back, drop that knee down. So if you do that at the same time, both of those feet go out, you drop onto your knees, okay? Next thing, we want to make sure that our glove is right between the legs. We don't want any balls getting by us, and we don't want to keep ourselves so narrow like this that we're not able to get more of a range. So knees apart, glove right here. So that's why that drop, kick back, and replace is really good, because you already have your feet set in a great position to drop the knees to, and that glove's going to take care of the rest. So you have a pretty good wide distance that you can knock that ball down. Any questions so far? Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at, Miranda's going to come over to the side so you guys can see it really well, is we're going to talk about that form with our body. Now, when we catch, we want to use what's called a banana position. So bananas have a little bit of a curve to them. So just like that with my body, I'm going to curve a little bit, staying tall, but coming up over the ball here, so that when I knock it down, it stays out in front of me, just like so. What we don't want to see is you bending in half like this, because now that ball hits, it bounces over my head. And the other thing we don't want is to get really tall. That ball hits, it's going to get away from me a lot further. So that banana shape is really good for letting that ball come up and hit you. We smother it and keep it down into the ground. All right, all set on that. Any more questions?
Shauna says your curls look great.
Oh, thank you. All right, so some people are going to ask, now what do I do with this hand, my throwing hand? So a lot of people like to have that hand behind, just like when they're catching like normal. They have the hand back here, it's out of the way. So when you're blocking, sometimes people do this. I prefer though the method with the hand behind the glove, and I think a lot of people will agree that that's best, because it allows you to kind of have it ready to go as soon as that ball bounces. Sometimes we get lucky and the ball goes actually into the glove, and so we can just get it really quick. But if we have the hand behind, it takes a little extra time to get around to it. So you might as well have those hands right here, have that symmetry, and then we can even use our upper body to shift a little bit and knock balls down. Don't be afraid to get those arms involved. We don't want to have gaps like this per se, but if we get a little elbow out to the side here once in a while, we might knock down a couple more than we normally would have.
Did you tuck your chin?
Yes, definitely tuck your chin. Let me go back. Thank you for reminding me. So when we're catching, obviously we have full gear on. It keeps us safe, keeps us protected. We're not really gonna get hurt here. But one thing to keep in mind is that you'll have your face mask here, and there might be a dangling part, or it might just end right at the chin, but you have an exposed part in your neck right here. So when you're blocking, and forgive me if you can't hear me super well as I'm talking, but when you tuck your chin, it's going to protect that part of your neck right here. But if you have it like this, that ball is gonna come up and hit you. It's not gonna feel good. So make sure to always tuck that chin down when we're blocking. Great. Anything else? No? Okay. So a couple of drills here, just to get you started on working on blocks, is what we can do. Sometimes our younger catchers especially get a little scared of the ball, and they're not really used to having something flying at them, and especially not used to being told, just let it hit you, right? So what we do, and what I like to do with my catchers, is I'll actually have them gear up completely, and then I'll take some regular balls, or maybe if they're really young, start with tennis balls just to ease them into it, and I just chuck them right at them. One hops, right in front of the plate, let it hit them in succession. Do about 20 or 30 of these in a row. That catcher cannot flinch. If she's flinching, it means she's still scared of the ball, and the more she does this drill, the more she's gonna realize, wait a minute, this doesn't hurt at all. Those balls are bouncing off of the chest protector, shin guards, helmet, and it doesn't hurt, and eventually they're gonna get over it and they'll be good to go. I have one catcher right now that I've been working with for a couple months. It was her favorite drill. She absolutely loved it, thought it was so fun, so give it a shot. Another drill that we can do is if you want to place a round of balls in a circle and you want to work on your side blocks, you can always kick out and replace around each and every marker. So I have these out here to just kind of demonstrate to you guys the distance away from the plate we want to let the ball get, because we don't want it getting too far away from us. But this could also be really good if you place a ball in between each cone and made a full circle out of it. So just work on blocking around the circle and then blocking around back, working those sides. Remember, we always want to angle to where the ball is coming back toward the plate. So, for example, if I'm blocking straight on right here, and that's my plate, if I'm kicking out to this side, I have a little bit of an angle, blocking toward the plate here, back to middle, blocking toward the plate here. All right.
Is there a reason you want them to do kickbacks?
So the kickback is really important because if we roll forward onto our knees, we're losing a little bit of that distance. And it's sort of like when we're running, we don't ever want to run to the back of first base. We want to hit the first corner in front because that's going to be quicker. We're going to get to our target faster, even if it only means a millisecond of a difference. And the other thing is that when you're rolling forward, you're actually putting momentum toward the ball. Now, for those of you that are old enough that know, you're actually going to create more force going into the ball and pushing it further away from you. So if I kick it back and replace, I'm staying here. My momentum has stopped and I'm in place. But if I'm rolling forward when I meet that ball, I'm rolling into it and I'm going to push it further away from you. All right. Nothing else?
Any last minute questions?
Give them a minute to think up some stuff. No? All right. Then I guess we're good.
Annie would like to know if she still has time to be a catcher.
Oh, what do you mean in terms of...
Does she still have time to learn?
Oh, anybody can learn at any age. I mean, definitely take care of your knees. But being a catcher is great. It is my favorite position for sure because I was someone who needed to stay in the game to pay attention, and it's a position where you're involved in every single play. And some people think that they want to be pitchers for that same reason, that they want to be involved in everything, but catchers are the secret leaders out there. I don't know if you guys know that. They have a great view of the whole field. They can see everything that's going on. And it's a really good time being a catcher. It's a lot of hard work. I know with all that gear, you get hot in it, whatever. But honestly, you become a game changer and you make a big difference for your team when you're solid back there.
What should your body look like in a block position?
So we talked about the banana shape that, and I can actually just do it standing right here. So when we're blocking, we don't want to just fold over when we're on our knees like this, because the ball is going to bounce over our heads because we're keeping ourselves so short, right? But if we get just a little bit tall and have a little bit of a curve in our backs, getting that banana form, we're able to have the ball hit us in the chest and knock it down into the ground. Because standing upright, that ball's going to bounce up and away from us instead.
Do you lead with your butt or your knees in kicking out?
I always kick out. I think about my feet moving back and dropping my knees down. I don't really think about my butt, like where that's going, but maybe they're, did I get that right with the question? Yeah. Maybe they're wondering about, like, as far as like the height when I'm on my knees, like if you want to come to the side. Maybe their question was more like if my butt's down here or if I'm up like this. Now, I would say try to be up with your lower half, because if we're low like this, then I'm taking away from what my upper half can do. And we're always going to be able to knock that ball down right here, no matter what. So whether my butt's back or I'm forward on my knees, my glove's going to block that hole. And I actually, as you can see, kind of get more height here, but I'm still able to lean over and get that.
What's your opinion on knee savers?
Knee savers can be great starting out, and I'm not going to knock anybody that uses them into their later years, but I will say that if you find yourself in a situation where you want to rely on your own strength, where maybe your knee savers, you don't have that gear, something happens, because you've relied on that crutch for so long, it might be difficult. You're not really allowing yourself to build those muscles in your legs. I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to build up those muscles. It's definitely not easy. It takes maybe years sometimes, but then you're kind of setting yourself up for having a really healthy, happy lower half, because you're getting so strong each and every day, not relying as much on that equipment. But do what you want, to each their own. Save those knees as much as possible. That's just more of a personal choice, but that was my 2 cents on it. All right, so we're good. All right, then I will see you guys again hopefully next week.